Hi guys, I'm Patra. My goal is to create an image classifier that can recognize an image more than 95% of the time. I'll be using TensorFlow, which is an open source framework developed by Google for machine learning. TensorFlow has a lot of methods that will do the math for us, but we need to understand the basics. So these are my agenda. So I'll be creating multiple episodes for these items. So, so, so this is not the final list. I'll be adding items as you go. So let's dive in. So why Python? Its syntax is elegant and similar to common mathematical ideas. It has a lot of scientific libraries that helps performing machine learning tasks. In other language, we don't find such libraries that we do in Python. So we'll use Python in all our examples. We're going to use Jupyter Notebook to run Python. It's a web application that allows us to create and share documents that contain live Python code. Most importantly, we can see results right on the web page. To install these two items, please find the steps in the description. If you have any trouble to install these two items, please add a comment. When you run Jupyter Notebook on command prompt, that will create a local server and open up this page. Go to the new and hit Python 3. In this drop down, when you select code, you can execute Python code, and when you select Markdown, you can execute HTML code, and this heading will add a heading. Let's select code for this cell and do a mathematical operation and press Shift and Enter to execute the selected cell. And for this cell, select Markdown in the drop down and press Shift and Enter. Now it is bold. To add a header, choose heading, and in this way you can add a heading. That's all about Jupyter. Like other languages, Python does have different types of data types. We'll go one by one. We do not write data types while defining a variable. This will be determined by the value of it. As you have a string here, this name becomes a string. As you have a float here, this price becomes a float. List is called array in other languages. List 1 is a list of strings, list 2 is a list of integers, list 3 is a list of both, integers and strings. We can change an item of a list using the index number. We can get the count of number of items in a list using the len function. If you want to get a list of continuous numbers, then you can use the range function. As you have passed 5 here, this will return from 0 to 4. We can slice out a piece of array from a big array using the starting index and the ending index. As I passed 2 and 4, this will become 0, 1, 2 to 4. But we are only getting 2 and 3. That means this is ending index minus 1. If you want to get the first two items from a list, then we just can leave the starting index and just use the ending index. So the starting index will be equal to 0. Let's suppose if you want to get from second to end. So in this case, we just can leave the ending index. So 2 to last, this will be from 0, 1, 2 to end. That means 2, 3 and 4. The last one is interesting as you have a negative number. So when you pass a negative number, this will be starting from the end. This is minus 1, this is minus 2, this is minus 3. So as you have minus 2 here, That means from here to the end, 3 and 4. If you want to know if an item is present in the list, then you can use the in operator. This will return a boolean. So as we have 4 here, this will return true. As we do not have 10, this will return false. Tuples are immutable list. That means we cannot change an item. And this is represented by a parenthesis. And list is represented by a square bracket. And if you want to concatenate multiple tuples, then you can use the plus operator. Dictionary is like a list. It has set up keys that map to set up values. Language is a key, Python is a value, developer is a key, Hornet is a value. If you want to get a list of keys, then you can use the keys function. If you want to get a list of values, then you can use the values function. Syntax of loops is a bit different than other languages. In other languages, you use curly braces. Here, in the first line, you use a colon, and all other statements will be indented. All indented statement will belong to the immediate parent block. Syntax of functions bit similar to loops. We can define a function using def. This is the function name, and we're just adding two numbers here. In the second example, we are passing four parameters, but we have only two arguments. This one will be mapped to A, and the rest will be mapped to B. So here this B becomes a tuple of 2, 3, and 4. In the third example, we are returning two values. This A star 2 will be stored in C. This B star 2 will be stored in D. List comprehension is an elegant way to define and create list. You can use this to transform a list into one other list. As we have already know, this is the syntax for loop. So for every item in the list, we're multiplying it by 2, and the whole statement is wrapped in a square bracket. So this will return a list. In the second example, we have nested for loops. This is the first for loop. This is the second for loop. And this the second for loop will be executed for every item in the first for loop. Here we have 5 items. Here we have 5 items. So 5 cross 5, 25. So we have 25 iterations. So for every iteration, we're creating a tuple. The whole statement is wrapped in a square bracket. So this will return a list of tuples. Random is a separate module. We need to import it. And we're going to use the random module a lot as we'll be generating a huge amount of data for testing. Random.random function generate a random number, and if you want to get a list of random numbers, you can use the list comprehension. And you have already noticed I'm not using a variable here, instead a underscore. So when you think you don't need a variable, then you can use the underscore. Random module actually generates pseudo-random, that is deterministic based on an internal state. So we can set the state using random.seed function. And okay, so let's suppose if you want to set it to 5 and generate a random number, and if we again set to 5, then we'll get the same random number. And this is all about basics of Python. Next episode is on linear algebra. Please give a suggestion to improve this series. Thanks for watching.